When and where was the first COVID-19 cases recorded?
The first cases of the virus were in Wuhan in China at the end of last year. Like other new coronaviruses, it was almost certainly passed to a human from an animal, probably a bat.
How does it affect the human body or make you sick?
The symptoms might include fever, cough, runny nose, and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, it can cause pneumonia, which is an infection of the lungs that can make it difficult to breathe. But it's important to remember that most cases are mild and not much different to a common cold. In fact, some people who have tested positive for COVID-19 haven't had any symptoms at all.
Can face masks protect you from the coronavirus?
While masks can stop people from spreading the disease, doctors say we shouldn't be wearing them if we're not sick.
Masks are pointless. Your chances of walking past a person with the illness or being on the same train or bus as them are not much higher than winning the lottery. So by wearing masks, you're unnecessarily using a resource that's needed for health workers who'll be directly exposed to infected patients, and needed for people with the illness to cut the chances of them spreading it.
What is the mortality rate of the coronavirus?
Wow, that's a good question. The mortality rate is the percentage of people who die when they get the virus. The World Health Organization says it's about 3.4%, although it could be lower than that. While it's still a fair bit more deadly than the seasonal flu, most people who get coronavirus have a really mild case. And the good news for you guys is that kids are much less likely to get sick.
How long can the coronavirus live outside of the human body?
While it passes much more easily from person to person, scientists reckon human coronavirus can live on surfaces for up to 9 days. The germs can be killed pretty easily though with common disinfectants.
As an Australian, should I be concerned about the coronavirus spreading around Australia?
There are already cases in Australia, and the government says it is likely to spread, which is why they're getting ready.
We've got ahead of this early. We intend to stay ahead of this.
Authorities are trying to limit the spread as much as possible by keeping close track of who's got the virus and who they've come into contact with.
Are the government going to cancel school in Australia?
At the moment, that's not really necessary because it hasn't spread that much in Australia. But it could happen. A few schools have already been closed in Sydney because students got the virus.
Should I stock up on water, food and toilet paper?
Yeah, so last week people got a little bit over the top with the toilet paper thing.
Removing all of lavatory paper from the shelves of supermarkets probably isn't a proportionate or sensible thing to do.
While experts say it's not a bad idea to have a couple of weeks' worth of food in the cupboard just in case you need to quarantine yourself, we won't run out of food and there is no need to panic.
How many people have the coronavirus?
That's a tricky one because it's changing all the time. But around the world, it's more than 100,000, although heaps of those are now better.
What should you do if you get the symptoms?
The government says if you think you might have COVID-19, you should talk to a doctor. But make sure you call first and let them know so everyone can take precautions and make sure you don't spread it. The government says you should also put a mask on before you see anyone.
Will antibiotics help treat the virus?
No, antibiotics are used to kill bacteria, and COVID-19 is a virus.
Is there going to be any cure for the coronavirus?
Hopefully. All around the world, scientists are working to find a vaccine, and they've already had some breakthroughs. Researchers at the University of Queensland are testing a new vaccine on animals, and there are also other tests going on. It will be a while before anything hits the shelves though, so in the meantime, the best advice is to stay calm, practice good hygiene, and look after each other.